Hello everyone, I'm Muffs and welcome to the Muffs Archive. In this video I'm going to show you my art fight preparations. What are my expectations for my second year on art fight, how I customize my profile, what OCs I have available, and also just the controversies we had this year and how messy, as always, the art community was in regards to this event. Don't forget to subscribe, like, give me your feedback if you watch this video until the end, but let's just move on and get on to what really matters. But what is ARTFIGHT? Well, ARTFIGHT is a art gifting game or competition, and this year, for the first time in ARTFIGHT's history, we're gonna have 3 teams. We have Team Comedy, Tragedy, and Mystery. I'm in Team Mystery, the red team, and oh my god, let me just briefly say and quickly go over the fact that I loved the trailer they released to showcase the teams. I think it was so well done and so creative, and also such a great idea to introduce 3 teams for ARTFIGHT 2026. It's a way to spice up the game in some way, and I'm really excited to see how that's gonna turn out. If there's gonna be one of the 3 teams who's gonna be far behind from the rest, or if it's gonna be balanced in some way. So let's see what kind of scores each team is gonna get and who's gonna be the winner, of course. I also heard there was a huge update on the website in terms of coding. I think they changed, the ARTFIGHT team changed the coding on the website, and now it's supposed to be easier to customize your profile. So the first thing I want to show you guys in regards to my ARTFIGHT preparations was that I wanted this year to make my profile stand out a bit more. Not only in terms of the quantity of OCs I have available, but also just the look of my profile. So I searched a lot on YouTube and other platforms just to know what other people were doing with their profiles, how I could customize them, and I came across the video How to Step Up Your ARTFIGHT Profile by Sparky Bolts, where they said that there's this website called File Garden where you can host the images you want to insert on your profile description on the ARTFIGHT website. So shout out to them for their very helpful video. And of course my profile isn't incredible, it's not extremely detailed, but I didn't really want to put too much information. I just wanted to create these designs, this tiny assets to put on my profile so it could be more eye-catching, more fitting to my artistic identity and what I want to showcase with my second year on this competition. So you can see a banner I made. I still want to add more stuff to that banner, but for now I'll just leave it as it is and leave it as a simple design. That's what you're seeing right now on screen. And then I did my team card with just a small label on top, on the right above the team card, my team mystery card, and then a little infographic on my OCs, my stories, and what you can expect from this year. So I have 3 stories. Forever Ghosts, which is my comic, the one that already has a chapter up on Webtoon and Global Comics, which is actually the PDF version of the zine I made. Introduce and explore the identity and visual aspects and characters of the story. And most of my OCs that are available on ARTFIGHT this year are Forever Ghost OCs, and they're marked with the heart shape you see at the side of their names. Then you have Karma Fighters. This one is quite messy, and what I mean by this is that I've had Karma Fighters, this story has been developed for about 9 to 10 years. It's almost 10 years old, but I'm currently doing a huge rework to all of the OCs and the plot points. So I archived the 3 OCs or 2, I don't remember how many there were, from my ARTFIGHT profile because I'm redoing every single one of them. I am remaking the story, and I plan to make a video on that in the future, but the changes I'm doing are pretty slow because I'm now more focused on Forever Ghosts and advancing the comic and giving you guys at least 3 more chapters before 2026 ends. And again, since I'm a university student, I can't keep up with a lot of chapters in the comic and I can't do a lot, but I'm trying to do my best. And then my last story is Broken Olympia. This one is also going through some changes in the plot because I kind of mixed some characters that weren't part of the story into the story recently. So for Broken Olympia, I only have Nora and Makaya available. They're like the main couple of the series, some of the main characters. Oh my god, I cannot tell you just how much I love those two. If you're watching this video and if you really want to draw D&D inspired OCs, please draw Nora or Makaya or both. They are just like my... You know when you create artists, please tell me you relate to this. You know when you create the perfect couple? Okay, they go through a lot, they have their fights, but they're just so perfect together that you look at them and you're like, yes, my artistic skills peaked here. That's how I feel when I see and look and draw them together. And I know I didn't really put any drawings of them together because I mostly only did traditional drawings of them together. They're not digitalized yet, so since I only want to insert digital drawings onto my profile and my characters, so you can't really see any drawing of them together because they're not digitalized yet, but I have so much stuff of them that I want to show you guys as soon as possible. But again, I'm more focused on Forever Ghost, so these two stories, as much as I love them, are not as active right now. The last thing you can see on my third asset or image or small design for my profile it's just the fandom OCs I have available on my profile. So Leah and Ayla, Pokemon OCs. I also have my Spider Sona Sophia, and I have Thorn, my Dispatch OC. And then why I still decided to mention Dungeons and Dragons is because Nora and Makaya were OCs created specifically to cater to the Dungeons and Dragons fandom and world and universe. But I also added them to the story of Broken Olympia. Almost went through all of the OCs I have available on my ARTFIGHT profile for 2026, but let's just do a quick rundown on every single one of them. Starting from left to right, we have Liliana, the Rat, Hanjin, Álvaro, Joel, Teresa, Neil, and Krish from Forever Ghosts, my comic. Then we have Makaya and Nora from Broken Olympia, Ayla and Leah, my Pokemon OCs, Thorn, my Dispatch OC, and Sophia, my Spider Sona. Compared to last year, where I just had 5 characters up on my profile, I have way more diversity this time for my second year on ARTFIGHT, and I actually think that's gonna favor me a lot, because one of the things that really confused me last year was how many characters people had on their profiles, because I always thought it was weird that people had like 100 characters, 30, 40, 50 characters on their profiles, because in my head it wasn't really worth it to put as much OCs. But then while talking to some friends that participated on ARTFIGHT and just friends that liked the event and liked my stories, they all told me the same thing. They had the same opinion, like, oh no, it's actually very important for you to have a lot of OCs. It's almost like an etiquette of sorts during the event. If you have a lot of OCs, people are most likely to be interested in looking carefully at your profile and attack you because you have more diversity and you're able to also cater to many different kinds of artists and just get more attacks, get more attention, and also get more art. Yeah, that's kind of something I changed in my mindset towards the event, and I'm kind of proud of the selection I have this year. If I'm able to get everything about Karma Fighters sorted out in time for next year and also the rest of the characters in the cast of Broken Olympia, I'll try to add them to my profile too. But then I know I'll have like 50 characters for my ARTFIGHT profile, which could be messy, but apparently it works. So I don't know, guys, you'll have to wait and see. I also just want to give some tips on how to get your references done quickly, because there's something I did this year that really benefited me and that really made me work through all of the references for these characters with no pressure, specifically the ones from my comic, which was the technique I used was making a template. So it was actually Liliana's character that started this, and what I made was a full body base that I copy and pasted, but then altered obviously to every single one of the Forever Ghost characters. So you can see clearly that with the speed paints I'm showing throughout the video that I'm just altering things and cutting corners in order to make the references quick and in order to not spend a lot of time on them. So they're not rendered, they're just basic, they're basic drawings with basic line art and colors, and actually I think that's how a reference should be done, because it's direct, it's not flashy, it's simple, it has a white background, and I just think it's easy to look at and easy to comprehend and to draw my characters from, an easy way to reference their designs. Some of my characters do not have this template because I already had drawings from them that showed their full body or just the key features that they have. Not all of my characters follow this template, but most of them do, and when I decide to add more characters, I'll just use the template once again to make the process much quicker and easier for me. I'm mentioning this because I see a lot of artists being like, oh my god, I hate getting everything done for ARTFIGHT, it takes so long. But it doesn't need to take that long. You can make things easier for yourself because this game is supposed to be fun. If you're stressing yourself while preparing for ARTFIGHT, you're not gonna like it when you have to draw under pressure to get points for your team, and you're not able to enjoy the process of making art for others if you stress before the event even starts. So while preparing and organizing your profile, do you get what I mean? But yeah, I'm much more confident this year because I have a wider selection of OCs, and also because throughout 2025 and now 2026, as we're reaching second half of the year, I improved a lot in my drawings and I was able to become much quicker at drawing and much more efficient, and that is really gonna help me this year. I also just want to say that I have a lot of characters bookmarked. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to draw all of them, but I have a wide variety of characters there. Like, I want to draw a lot of Steven Universe and My Little Pony OCs this year because those two series were part of my childhood, and I saw so many people including Steven Universe and My Little Pony OCs on their profiles. So if you're watching this and you have a Steven Universe or My Little Pony OC, comment, because maybe I already bookmarked your character, or I want to see your character to see if I want to draw them. And I don't know, I'm just trying my best to do at least 15 drawings this year, and I want to make them better than the ones I did last year, and I also want to try my best to attack a bigger variety of characters. So of course I have a lot of ponies and Gemsonas, but I also want to attack a lot of Dungeons & Dragons characters. I already have a lot of those bookmarked, and I just want to have much more fun and experiment a lot with this event. Now that you've seen pretty much all of my OCs that I have available, all of the references and drawings, extra drawings I made of them this year, I want to briefly comment on my expectations and the controversies that happened this year with ARTFIGHT. Okay, I know this is tiring for a lot of artists and people who engage with the online communities available on social media, but the ARTFIGHT rules were very controversial this year because of the tracing guidelines they put out. And honestly, it was such a mess because a lot of misinformation was being spread, and a lot of people just jumped on to attack the team behind ARTFIGHT, and I think that was awful, honestly awful for everyone. For the ARTFIGHT team, who was not able to communicate properly with its users and its fans, or just people who participate in the competition, and then the community itself was not able to also make that communication easy by throwing hate and being mean instead of wanting to create meaningful and important conversations. Now, me personally, Muffs, I do not agree that referencing or heavily referencing your art on a picture, an image, or in someone else's art is a problem. I think it's a problem when you plagiarize that original piece or image, when you don't even try to recreate it and to use it for your own gain. I do a lot of referencing in my drawings, and you probably saw that while I showed some of my speed paints. I like to research and just take a lot of photos and pictures of myself to use as references for my drawings. But I know a lot of people are somehow afraid of this simply because they think that copying or tracing or referencing something is inherently bad. But I disagree. I saw a video by Sam Does Art the other day where he talked about this, about referencing, about, for example, me taking a photo of my own hand, tracing over that hand, just to know how I can properly draw and apply it to my drawing, and that not being a bad thing for you as an artist. And I really, I genuinely agreed with everything he said on that video about, the referencing aspect and controversies that surround that topic in the art community, because he said something that a lot of art teachers taught me throughout the years and that a lot of people seem to not understand, which is that copying and referencing is a way for you to study arts. And even some of the most famous painters and artists of the classical era of arts did reference and copy from their masters, the art pieces of their masters, in order to develop their own style and their own capacities, their own art skills. And that's something that a lot of people seem to not understand. But then I also agree that the ARTFIGHT team was also not really understanding the point that a lot of people were respectfully making. But then again, since the art community can be very toxic. I believe that the ARTFIGHT team, was just consumed by a lot of negative content and backlash about themselves, and that made it difficult to create healthy conversations and to hear what people were respectfully saying about what they were trying to establish for the competition this year. But then they re-edited everything, they went back on what they said, and then everything was sorted out, everything was solved. And honestly, I think that's very important for people to be able to learn from their mistakes, but also have conversations about, hey, referencing and tracing and what is realistic, what is not, what is healthy, what is not. So I don't know if there's someone listening to me right now being like, how dare she say that she can trace a photo of her own hand for a drawing? That's awful. Well, that's your opinion. My opinion is that it's a thing that is very common in the arts industry, the artistic industry, and something that helps you develop your art. I also heard of some unfair bans in the competition, some malfunctions, and just fights happening between some artists and the ARTFIGHT team. But I'm not I don't really know, or I'm not someone who necessarily chases those kinds of controversies, so can't tell you much about the controversy surrounding ARTFIGHT this year, aside from the big one, which was the tracing and referencing controversy. My expectations for this year are that it's going to be a positive event. I'm seeing a lot of new artists join. I'm seeing a lot of people that I admire join the event for the first time, so I'm very excited. I overall think the event is growing a lot, surprisingly, getting a lot of attention this year, and that's very positive for the art community. I also think that the controversy, again, that I just mentioned, that I just talked about, was able to kind of change the ARTFIGHT team's perceptions on how to engage and how to communicate with their fans and the participants of the event or of the competition. So I really want to attack a lot of people, develop and experiment a lot with the drawings I make for others this year, and I just hope everyone has a lot of fun, but also that everyone is respectful to each other. I'm going to add this here, and it's a very important message. You, yes, you, viewer, who is planning on participating on ARTFIGHT, do not break the rules of ARTFIGHT. Do not break an artist's boundaries, and if someone breaks your boundaries, make sure to contact the team to seek help, to talk about it, and to report that person, because no one that is participating in this event deserves to be disrespected. I've heard a lot of people say they have characters that are whitewashed and when they're attacked, that are altered in order to look more pretty or conventionally attractive, and that's awful. No one has to change your OC's design or core features just because they want to set their, in many cases, racist beliefs onto your characters. I'm a white person saying this, by the way, so I don't want to look like I'm trying to be morally superior to anyone. I just want to promote respect and basic decency, because I think people are way too comfortable with being bigoted online these days. We all know why, right? But as long as I have a channel and I have a small platform to promote myself and my art, I want to promote good values and respect. So yeah, that's all I have to say in this video. You saw all of my preparations for ARTFIGHT, how I went from making references, using a easy and quick template, to just adding a lot of characters and organizing myself from May to June for the event. ARTFIGHT is in a few days. I am so excited to share it with so many incredible artists, and I hope that you, as you reach the end of this video, can also look at ARTFIGHT in a positive way and say, I want to participate and I want to share this event, this competition, in a healthy way with my fellow artists online. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you can stick around, see the rest of my content, support me, and I'll see you in my next video.